I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff. As always, welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. It is Angel Ortega. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, boys. UFC Vegas 80, 81, Bellator 300. A whole bunch of news. UFC 294 has been completely turned upside down, as well as we got to talk about the Prime card coming on this Saturday night from London. Before we break into the action, as always, we're brought to you by two fantastic sponsors of the show, Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Code Sound those for 10% off. Rogue Energy keeps me going throughout my day. I recently went on vacation, traveled up to the Ozark Mountains, did some hiking, did some fun stuff. And you know what kept me motivated throughout that? Rogue Energy. Kept me fueled up. I was able to go throughout the mountains, do the drive, do the whole process, And but when I got home, I took some of that ELYXR with their Delta 8, 9, 10. Excellent products. And once again, code Soundoff at checkout for both of those. You get really fueled up or you can get really fucking high with code Soundoff at checkout for 10% off both Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Admittedly, Angel, we both said in the green room that these recaps are probably going to go a little bit quick because, dude, they seem, with all the news that's happened this week, these fights feel like they were like 3 months ago. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember some of them right now. It's just like, it's kind of fucking hard, but,
No, you remember. There was some pretty big moments on this.
Well, especially in the main event, because UFC Vegas 80 main evented by Bobby Green and Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson, we've been high on this kid for a long time, 29 years old, entered the fight 21-1. But look, dude, it only takes one. And King Bobby Green landed that one 33 seconds into the first round, gets the knockout win. And Bobby Green is, 37 years young. He is now once again a ranked lightweight contender with a massive upset, dude. What do you think about this fight and Bobby Green pulling off the upset?
It's weird because I don't know if you felt the same way, but I was and wasn't shocked. I don't know if you can share the same sentiment.
Yeah.
Were you? Were you shocked or were you surprised at all?
I was definitely pretty surprised. Like, I will say that we said whenever we were previewing the fight last week, I was like, there's definitely going to be some areas where if Grant Dawson is not fully capable on the feet, Bobby Green's going to expose that. So in a way, I wasn't that. Like, I always knew it was a possibility, but at the same time, it's like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, he's still that guy. You know what I mean?
I think I feel about the same way. Like, I was and wasn't shocked. Because, like you just said there, we knew that there were some deficiencies there. Fuck, like the way it happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe it'd be a little bit more drawn out, and there were some people who were like, "I'm not surprised," Grant isn't Islam, which obviously, yeah, we know that. And at the end of the day, I mean, Grant wasn't going to win this fight the same way Islam won his fight against Bobby Green. I think, regardless, they just are two completely different fighters. I think they both use the foundation of wrestling, but in different ways. So. I think that was another big component. Obviously, I'm assuming Bobby Green probably took a lot from that, and always confident, always how do I put it? Comfortable in his own skin at all times. Mm-hmm. He knows himself very well. I mean,
he walked out with Sexy Red, so I mean, that man. Bobby Green was feeling himself. He's always his own man.
So he's back in the rankings, and funny enough, I think there is some potential good matchups. The performance, I mean, there isn't a lot to say outside of holy shit, right? Impressive as fuck. Then a lot of people didn't see that coming. But apparently, something that did surprise me though, Josh, our viewers. They all had Bobby Green winning this pretty much. I don't know if you saw the polls, but it was something insane.
Yeah. We gotta give a shout out to the Soundoff audience, dude, because
they're more educated than us.
If you go back and look, it's like they picked pretty much like all but like two main events incorrectly. Like, they've been killing it. But yeah, Bobby Green was heavily favored by the Soundoff fans this week. Yeah, you guys weren't surprised at all. We were pretty fucking surprised.
Dude, it looked like Juliana paying Amanda Nunes odds, dude, with how the voting went, dude. Like,
well, hey, Bobby Green's the people's champ. People love Bobby Green.
Yeah, dude, fuck this Sean Strickland, people's champ. This Bobby Green's the real people's champ.
Yeah. He really is, dude. I mean, that was a hell of a win. I mean, like you said, I was surprised. I was like, we knew it was a possibility, but damn, I didn't see it going down like that. I mean, 30 seconds in. In regards to both of these guys, you know, Grant Dawson's already come out and he's had a sense of humor about the loss. He's already talked about it. He'll be fine moving forward. For Bobby Green, man, this is a huge win. Looking at those lightweight rankings, who do you think he should face next? Or a couple of names, you know.
I can't remember. Who's Matt Favola fight? Is it St. Denis? I think the winner of that fight.
St. Denis, yeah.
Yeah, I think he should fight the winner of that fight. I think that'd be a very intelligent next move. I mean, shit, Drew Dober might be ranked again. We might have to run back Drew Dober versus Bobby Green one more time. Who's going to say no to that? You know what I mean?
I would have no problem with that, dude.
Hidano Moicano, Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker, I think are all, like, great options. It's actually quite interesting. I think right now for Bobby Green, especially on the lower half of lightweight, there's a lot of good options.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of good options. I mean, I know that Hidano Moicano went ahead and called out Dan Hooker, but that fight's not been made. There's a lot of guys on the lower tier of the rankings that are not currently booked, but I really like that shout, man. I think Favola, even the winner or loser, honestly, Favola St. Denis would be a fucking banger, man. But for Bobby Green, dude, I mean, this was the lifeline that he needed, man. I mean, at 37 years old, we've kind of seen over the past, like, I'd say since COVID, Bobby Green's taken his career more seriously than he did before. Like, I have nothing to back that up. It's just my own personal, that's what I feel like I'm seeing, you know? Cause he's been competing with these young guns, man. And that big win over Grant Dawson, like, if you're looking for a guy that getting up there in age, you know the clock is ticking, he needed that win, and he got it in style. So I'm excited to see who he faces next. Regardless of who it is, I know it's going to be a banger, dude. So I love Bobby Green. And like I said, for Grant Dawson, like, Angel, he'll be back, you know?
Yeah, he's young. He's got time.
Still in his 20s. That was only the second loss of his career, so it is what it is. Kind of move down to the co-main event. Joe Pyfer is for real.
You like Joe Pyfer, Josh. Say the hashtag.
No. But I am a Joe Pyfer fan. I will say that.
Has he arrived yet, though? Is this
I think this was his arrival. Because you can argue the Gerald Meerschaert fight, but this one, he basically made Abdul Hazak, he looked like Bo Nickel out there, bro. He was wrestling how I wrestle, like, in my daydreams, you know? Like, you ever think, oh man, if I get into a fight, I'm gonna do this? That's what Joe Pyfer did. Just threw him around every single possible way. Wins by second round submission.
I predicted that on MMA Verdicts. I always got to brag about that when I get it right. I did predict Joe Pyfer second round submission. I had a feeling it was going to end that way. I don't know why.
That's actually impressive. Okay. But what do you think about the win, man? I know that he's already signed a new deal.
I mean, shit, he deserves it. I mean, he has some attention behind him. Especially, I always say this, man, about 185, and especially right now, there is no better time for all these 185ers to kind of get this moment. And for him, I mean, I just can't wait to see the next challenge. I wonder how far they'll push him next. They don't even really have to because he's still young. There's a lot of options. He's talented, and they know they can put him on they put him on a co-main. What's to say they can't put him on a main event now of an Apex card at least? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that actually might be what's going to happen next for him because Dana loves this kid, and we know that whenever Dana likes you,
Josh, be like Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but whenever Dana likes you, dude, like that's basically the ticket that you need to success.
By the way, do you think Michael Jordan can sue for this? Like, be like Mike?
Bro.
You know what I'm getting at? Like,
I should think about it like that, but I mean, maybe.
You know, how will this affect LeBron's legacy? That's what I really.
That's the real question. I woke up Sunday morning after Joe Pyfer's win, and I thought, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? You know, that's all I thought about.
The only thing you could think about.
Oh God. Anyways, man. I mean, and not a whole lot to say about this win. Admittedly, like I don't believe the rankings. Like, did he bust into the rankings? I don't think he had, right?
No way.
That's what I thought. Yeah, like he has not been ranked. It was a
Hate to be there,
win,
but I don't think he's close. Not right now.
No, I didn't think so either. But
he could get there
I was
quick.
just double checking. Yeah,
he can get there quick. I mean, you can probably give him one more and then a ranked opponent. No one would question it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
He called out Paul Craig. Everybody's calling out Paul Craig.
He said he wants to, which I gotta say it. I hate this move. Whenever people do this. But he called out Paul Craig. He said that Paul Craig is going to lose his next fight, and then after that, he wants to fight Paul Craig.
Interesting.
Yeah, he wants to fight Paul Craig after. He said he's going to fight Paul Craig after Brendan Allen beats him up. So it's like, why don't you fight somebody coming off a win? Like, it's just why don't you try and? I mean, I'm assuming he's friends with Brendan Allen. That's why he's saying that. I guess I'm just but still, just kind of saying you'll fight the loser of a fight. It's always kind of weird to me, but whatever. In regards to the rest of this UFC Vegas 80 card, that main card, man, pretty solid. Pretty solid. What fights do you most want to talk about coming out of it?
Fuck, man. We got to talk about. Oh, who do I start with? I mean, they were all impressive. You got to say this about the whole main card. Every single winner looked very good in how they won. Everybody, like Bill Algeo, good performance against Alexander Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez coming on a little later. I can't remember. I mean, dude, like you said, there's so much. He had his moments. Without getting too specific, I think he had moments. If he had a little bit more, I think he could have maybe pushed for a potential win, but it just wasn't. There wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. Drew Dober, obviously, sick finish over Ricky Glenn. I think not trying to be a villain here, but I think we could have all predicted that. He defeats the meme. If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. Joaquin Buckley, officially 2-0 at 170, Josh. Has he arrived? I'm a little surprised though. I thought Moreno was going to look a little better. I think maybe Alex Moreno might have peaked Josh after his 4-fight win streak, and then after he lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio in the third round after seemingly doing very well.
Yeah.
It all kind of like, and it's not like he's doing bad. I mean, he got a win after that. He beat Team Means, but older vet. He just lost to Joaquin Buckley, who's a younger guy who just made the transition to 170. I think we kind of saw the tip of the iceberg on this one, but I mean, I think he'll still be around and be really competitive. He's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, he will. I mean, I will say that, just to kind of hit a couple of those fights that you went ahead and just discussed. The Drew Dober Ricky Glenn fight, I think basically everybody knew that was basically a state-sanctioned execution. I mean, I like Ricky Glenn a lot. Like, I like the guy. But I don't think, I mean, he just lost to Cristiano Stiagos by knockout. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Like, so to sign up for a fight with Drew Dober, I think we all kind of knew it was going to go that way. Joaquin Buckley, though, he's the new and improved one, man. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, 2 wins in a row. Both very exciting fights. You love to see it. Like you mentioned, Alex Morono. I'm really rooting for him, man. He put that 4-fight win streak together. He was a guy hitting his 30s, I didn't expect him to be as good as he was. He was putting a couple wins together. I kind of hate to see him take an L here. In 2 of his last 3, and like you mentioned, that Ponzinibbio fight where he stepped in on, I believe, really short notice and nearly knocked him out. Like, that was a fucking fight of really a very excellent fight.
Yeah. He was nothing away from winning that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he probably would have been close to ranked, if not ranked, after that fight. Without a doubt. He was just right there. But hey, man, this is his game. It's unforgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. But yeah, I mean, main card, I mean, Bill Algeo picked up a win over Alexander Hernandez. Yeah, I mean, 3 losses in his last 4. 1 win over Jim Miller. We'll see where he goes from here. Bill Algeo, though, I will give him credit. I mean, 34 years old. He's really putting it together right now. 4 wins in his last 5. In terms of the prelims, man, I mean, what can you really say about a couple of these fights? I mean, Karolina Kokavec picking up a win over Diana Belbita. She is now back in the rankings. In my opinion, this is the most underrated comeback story in MMA right now. I'm not sure if you agree.
Yeah, I mean, it is in a way, but, and I look back at it, though, Josh, but if you look at the fight she's won, I mean, it kind of was the right build, like they put the Legos just in the perfect spots back, because I hate to be that guy, but she went from losing to Jessica Andrade. I mean, I know Michelle Waterson's there, but I mean, nowadays it's you know what I mean? Like, seeing how Michelle's been in her last few fights has that loss looks a little worse, I think, in a way, to an extent. But it's like Jessica Andrade, Alexa Grasso, Yan Xiaonan. Like, those 3 fighters right there, like, tip of the iceberg, you know what I mean? And then you got, like, Jessica Penne in there, which is kind of like, that saved Jessica Penne, you know, from being cut right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong. Like, obviously the level of competition has been significantly lower. At the same time, though, I mean, she was on the verge of retirement, and I think basically everybody thought she was either retire or get cut after that Penne loss, you know?
I mean, she probably should have been cut, I'm not gonna lie, but good thing they didn't, though, right? Like, it all worked out.
Yeah, I mean, she beat Felice Herring, who was another person who was on, you know, a losing streak, loser that was going to get cut or retire. She'll beat Silvana Gomez-Juarez, who a very hard hitter, you know, coming off a huge knockout win. She beat Vanessa Diamopoulos, and that's Vanessa Diamopoulos' only loss in her last 5 fights. You know, like Belvita, I mean, she's admittedly not that great, but, you know, this was still a fun fight, and she's back in the rankings. So, I mean, you got to give her some sort of credit. Like, obviously, the fights have been.
Who do you think she should fight?
Who do I think she should fight? I have to pull up the rankings real quickly, but
I think Angela Hill.
That's actually a very good shout.
She's 12.
That makes a lot of sense.
She's 14. I don't know. I think that'd be a good shout. They
could maybe give her Michelle Watterson for Michelle Watterson's retirement fight.
That's possible too.
I like that. 2 old veterans, you know. Admittedly, Carolina's won a lot of fights, but Michelle Watterson, you know, she's
still game.
She's in the case where Carolina was like a couple of years ago. Like, we're just a shit ton of losses, you know?
She's on the other end of it now, right? She was part of it, and now she's on the other end of it. That's crazy how life is, man.
Yeah, so that's a fight that I have no problem with. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the rest of the UFC Vegas prelims, man, I mean, what fights do you most want to talk about that we have not talked about?
God, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit right there. I mean, Carolina, I think she was the kind of highlight of the prelims. Obviously, no disrespect to anybody else on here, but just the continuation of this story, right? And just kind of like, how far is it going to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. Actually, one thing I actually want to mention real quickly. You did watch the whole card, start to finish, right?
I saw from Nate Madness on. Okay.
I was gonna ask you, cause this fight did not really get any treatment, so it's probably it's literally the fight before that. Vanessa Diamopoulos versus Kanako Murata. Probably the worst decision of the year.
Really?
Yeah. You can pull up the MMA decisions on that one. I should pull it up right now to make sure I wasn't going crazy. It was one person scored it for Vanessa Diamopoulos. So yeah, that was a rough night, man. Highway robbery on that one, in my opinion.
I don't know what you're talking about, Josh. I had a 31-26 on my scorecard.
you had a 30-24 to Vanessa Diamopoulos. But yeah. Anyways, man. Yeah. I mean, and in terms of this card, would you grade it out of 10, man?
Fuck. Oh God. I'd say this is the fairest 6 I think you could give a card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 6.5. You're pushing a 7, maybe even a 7.
I don't disagree, dude. I think that's about fair, honestly. Like, it was okay. The prelims weren't great. Terrible decision as well, like I mentioned. Poor Murata, you know. Fucking hate to see that. First fight in 2 years, too, after breaking her arm. Like, fuck.
Dude. I think the best grade you can give this is probably a 7. I don't think you can go above a 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and go probably, yeah. I'm gonna be like IGN ratings. I'm gonna give it a 6.3.
6.9.
6.9. God damn it. I'm gonna give it a 4.20 out of 10. Just the dumbest numbers. Yeah, Angel. This is somewhat off topic, but
3.60.
Do you ever make a dumb joke in public and you just realize other people aren't as stupid as you are?
Actually, I got my first scoring, Josh. It's a 6.19.
I bought some shoes at Adidas. And it was $69, and I just chuckled and went nice. And the guy was not rock. The guy at the cash register was not rocking with the same energy, you know.
What a bitch.
He just looked at me like I was fucking crazy. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's your problem, bro. But anyways, man, that's not the only UFC we got, man. I mean, obviously that's the recap, and not the only UFC. I mean, we have more MMA to recap. Excuse me, because Bellator 300 went down as well on Saturday. 3 world title fights. In the end, I mean, these fights went almost exactly the way that I expected.
Right, Josh? I mean, you could have bet your life on these fights, couldn't you?
I probably could have, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, you could have done a 3-way parlay and made no money on these fights. So we're starting off with the main event. Usman Nurmagomedov defeating Brent Primus unanimous decision 50-45 across the board. Basically just dominated every single moment of this fight. We thought maybe Brent Primus would be able to test him in spots, but he just wasn't. What did you think about this win, man?
I mean, it was good. I would have loved to see Usman try to get him out of there. But I mean, at the same time, Brent Primus is you gotta give him credit, man. Very durable. Very hard to get out of there. At 38 years old, I'm happy for him in the sense that he got his chance at this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he was able to get here and fight for this title and have one opportunity at it and have a hoorah, you know? Mm-hmm. Obviously didn't go the way he would have wanted, but it was nice to see him come in on short notice, get an upset over a guy, Mansour Barnawi, who's going through it right now because he just lost his last fight to J.J. Wilson, which was a shocker to me. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Usman, he just looks good. He looks I hate to say it, but damn near perfect, right? There's still a little something there though that it almost feels like, I hate to say it, Josh, it almost feels like he's holding back still a little bit. Like, mm-hmm. And I just wish he would just unleash a little bit more of it, you know? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's working for him. I mean, the guy's 18-0. I mean, who am I to say what he should be doing, right? So he's still looking great.
Mm. No, I don't disagree. I mean, he really is looking phenomenal. He's a guy that if Bellator goes under, which it's looking like that's what's going to be the outcome. I mean, we're still waiting to see the status of the PFL deal, but time's running out on that, from my understanding. But yeah, I mean, Usman, dude, I mean, what can you really say about it? Just an excellent win. Flawless. I mean, fucking Mortal Kombat, flawless victory, basically. You know, like
all he needed was a fatality at the end, right?
Pretty much. I mean, it wasn't even close.
At least a babality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Babal.
I mean, you know what? You know what, Angel? Speaking of fatalities, that co-main event, Chris Cyborg just beat the fuck out of Kat Zingano. There's another fight where we're like, you know what? Maybe Kat can test her in spots.
Brutality.
Yeah, just instantly gets dominated. And,
hey man, my women's go, bro.
For real?
I like her a lot, man. I do wish at one point in time that her and Amanda could have met another time. Because at the end of the day, I know you try to tell me that, like, there was no point to it, right? But at the same time, like, who else is there for them to fight, though? You know what I mean? Rather than each other. And at 38 years old, Josh, you still gotta give her credit. She's still putting chicks out.
So yeah, man. I mean, just an excellent win by Chris Cyborg. What did you think about it, man?
Brutality. Fucking brutality. She's still doing it, man, even at her old age. By the way, I completely forgot Cyborg was like damn near 40. She's 38. What the fuck? Like this game is a shocker to me. When I clicked on her Tapology that night of, and I was like, yo, I'm like tripping out. I forgot Cyborg was getting up there. I mean, she's up there now, respectfully, right? She's looking. I mean, dude, she's putting gals out still, bro. She's still putting these girls to sleep. It's not even like she's just like winning on pure technicality and sheer will, right? Mm-hmm. Like she's still like physically dominating these women. You know, how will this affect LeBron's legacy? I don't know. All jokes aside, you know, if she's not number one in the GOAT conversation, she's no worse than second.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something that has to be said. Her ability to still be doing this now at this age is impressive. I mean, it's tippable. You got to give credit where credit is due. I wonder how much is still left in the tank though, like willing to compete. Because I mean, she did the boxing thing. She obviously came back to fight Kat Zingano. There is still some fire there. When is it gonna end? I wonder. Or do you have any idea if they do merge with a PFL? Could she potentially like maybe want to go that route and fight Kayla Harrison? You know, Julia Budd again, and some Larissa Pacheco was actually one that like popped in my head. I'm like, dude, Larissa Pacheco at 45 could be very interesting, you know.
I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. if the PFL deal happens, we know the Kayla Harrison fight would be huge. That's one of the fights I honestly want to most see in MMA, to be honest with you. I really think getting to see her grappling and getting to see both of them tested, because I feel like around around that size, there's really not too many other gals. I mean, you mentioned Larissa Pacheco as well. That'd also be an excellent, excellent fight. But for Cyborg, I mean, admittedly, I just don't know what's left for her to do. I mean, it's really whatever she wants to do. I think if she decides to go ahead and keep on fighting, which seems like that's the case, in boxing MMA, I think she said around 40 is when she'll start to consider retirement,
Consider, bro. Isn't that scary? Consider.
Yeah, or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I mean, just an excellent win, pure domination, no surprise whatsoever. Speaking of domination, like I said, dude, every single fight on this card, I mean, was just domination, no surprises whatsoever. This time, Liz Carmouche taking on Lima McFarland. These two were former teammates, but you weren't able to tell in fight night. Liz Carmouche beat the fuck out of Lima McFarland, specifically her legs. Leg kicked her to death. Ends up getting the 5th round TKO win. No surprise here. Lima McFarland also missed weight. You gotta think that might be it for her career on her.
Yeah, that's what it's looking right. Injuries just completely kind of shattered it for her, right? It's looking like a... On top of that, Josh, I saw a tweet. What was your opinion on the commentary during this fight? Because a lot of people were they felt like the commentary was very not enthusiastic, a little underwhelming. Obviously, the fight itself kind of had its own issues, right? And and even during the finish, it was kind of just bleh, And granted, they had a lot of fights that they were there for quite a while. There was a lot in commentary, and the fight did go to damn near the distance. What's kind of your opinion on that? I watched the clip of it, and I was like, something I actually don't fully disagree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, admittedly, is kind of, I don't blame the commentary for not being excited because it's one of those, if you watch the full fight, it was a fight that, we all kind of knew what the result was going to be from the second round on, and it wasn't very shocking. You got to think about this too. I saw a lot of people kind of bashing the commentary. It's these guys are going to probably be out of a job in 2 weeks. I'm willing to give Mauro Ranallo, one of the GOATs of commentary, a fucking pass. You know what I mean? Considering that fight, that was what it was, the title was only on the line for one fighter, the champion, who was dominating the entire time. I thought that was so overblown, people talking about that fight and talking about the call and all that, and the excitement level or whatever the fuck. I thought that was so overblown, in my opinion.
It's the principle, Josh.
I know it's the principle. But regardless, man, that's my kind of thoughts on it. In regards to the rest of the Bellator 300 card, whole lot of prelim fights. Anyone do you want to talk about in particular?
Josh, they had these fuckers still had post limbs, bro. Why? I don't know. They had a total of 16 fights. They could have had potentially 17 fights if Lenny Bissell and Bader went through.
Jesus. Well, they're trying to run out those contracts, so.
I got to shout out some of the people I shouted out last week, man. Jenna Bishop, I mentioned her jiu-jitsu guy who recently made the transition over to MMA, older gal, from Missouri, funny enough. Well, she was born in Missouri. I don't know where she stays at these days. I think she fights out of California nowadays, because who the fuck doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. Getting armbar finish first round. Grant Neal, a guy who in the 185 division in Bellator has kind of seemingly come out of nowhere, respectfully, because I had, no sort of line of sight on him, because he had been in Bellator. He had his second professional fight in Bellator. He had a decently sized Ami background, but there was nothing. I had never heard about him before. He beat Tyree Fortune, a guy who I had interest in. Obviously, he had to split, lost Alex Pelosi, and now he's beating three guys that I've been very invested in their careers in Bellator, in Christian Edwards, Carlo Brexton, and Romero Cotton, back to back to back. And look, and once again, that Pelosi one was a split. That's a pretty good fucking run in Bellator. And any promotion at that, it doesn't matter regardless. A lot of credit to give there. Kind of curious to see where, where his career is going to go from here. And obviously, Bellator is obviously up in the air, so things are a bit, in question there. But another guy I need to shout out, Josh, Sergio Cosio, aka Draco, a guy who's fought in Mexico for the longest time. At one point, this man, Josh, had lost 5 fights in a row. in almost a single year, like almost in a calendar year.
Damn.
He started off his career 9-0 and then proceeded to lose 5 fights in a row, all in a variety of ways. And then he bounced back and won one, then lost another one. And then after that, he proceeded to create another, 5-fight win streak. And ever since then, he's just kind of kept winning, only 2 losses in between there, and a number of wins in there as well. He's currently riding, let me see here, an 8-fight win streak. It could even be longer than that. He's 30 years old. He finally got his opportunity in a decently sized promotion. He was fighting in the Lux League for a while, but I honestly think he deserved to call up to Bellator 1 for quite some time now, and it probably should have came maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but he's got his shot now.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know all that. You went ahead and just actually broke it down really well there. I actually did not know all that. Yeah, dude, I mean, of that, I will say that's one of the cooler things about Bellator, I feel like. Especially in comparison to the UFC and obviously PFL or whatever. I mean, there are some guys that, it takes them some time, but they actually start to, become, not a name, but they get, opportunities, you know what I mean? That they would have not normally have gotten, even though they suffered a lot of losses early, or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Like our boy, I literally can't remember his name, the heavyweight from Chicago. Oh my God, Daniel James.
The Predator. The American Predator.
The American Predator, Daniel. He's another guy, dude. Started off 9-5, 6-3, something like that. But yeah, man, I don't have too many more thoughts on Bellator 300. I am ready to move on to UFC Vegas 81, though, going down this Saturday night from UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the main event, ranked featherweights, Sadiq Youssef and Edson Barboza, 2 hard-hitting guys. Obviously, Barboza has lost a lot lately, but I don't think anybody would deny that he still has that firepower and some of those workout shots I'm sure you've seen recently, Angel. He looks shredded. So
at 145 he does.
He does. So what do you think about this one, man? Youssef obviously has the brighter future, but if Barboza can potentially stop his losing streak.
I mean, I think Barboza's still a very alive dog, man. I think the only issue is how old is Barboza right now? Let me look real quick. He's 37, but that's an old 37, man. Let me tell you, them fight miles are very, very real on Barboza. Obviously, it's still very dangerous on the feet. But I do think, he's susceptible to being hurt now. I do genuinely believe that. I think he could definitely I think that chin has been chiseled a little bit. And I think if Sadiq, especially a guy like Sadiq Youssef, if he can get there, I think we could see a devastating result. At first, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, all week, probably leading up to this, I think I was hardcore Edson Barboza. I'm like, Edson Barboza's gonna get it done. But today I had my mind changed, Josh. I think I'm going Sadiq Youssef. I think in 5 rounds, a younger guy with power in Sadiq Youssef who has this potential. I think he still has potential for a high ceiling. I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't know where he's capped off at yet. He's one of those guys that it feels like he's been around a lot longer than what he has been. But he really hasn't been around that long either. But he's been here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get it, man. And look, I did say Edson Barboza had a losing streak. Let me rephrase. He knocked out Billy Quarantillo to end that losing streak in April. Prior to that, he had been mugged by Bryce Mitchell and Giga Chikadze. Just a couple of brutal losses there. I mean, look, man, I've been kind of going back and forth about this fight. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Sadiq Youssef, though. I think he's a younger guy. I think he's more well-rounded. And like you said, I just think Edson Barboza is more susceptible to being hurt now. And once your kind of chin starts to go a little bit, that's basically it. I mean, you don't randomly recover. I mean, Andrei Arlovsky is the only person to ever randomly recover their chin, you know? But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Sadiq Youssef here, man. I think he still has a bright future. I believe 13-2 is the record, only loss in the UFC to Arnold Allen, who's a savage. So very excited for him in his first UFC main event, I should say as well. But nonetheless, man, in the co-main event, ranked women's flyweights, Jennifer Maia, former title challenger, riding a 2-fight winning streak, including a big upset over KSI O'Neal in March, taking on Vivian Arzuero, ranked number 11, riding a 2-fight losing streak to Amanda Hebos and Alexa Grasso. Granted, no shame in losing either one of those fights. What do you think about this matchup, man? 2 ranked Brazilians in this one.
Yeah, no. This matchmaker kind of threw me off a little bit. I didn't expect these gals to be fighting each other, especially since Jennifer actually did, like you just mentioned, got a big win It feels like it was last year, but it wasn't. It was KC O'Neill in London. That was literally the start of this year. But God, it doesn't feel like it's. God, dude, it's been such a wild year.
Yeah.
Jesus. No, I mean, for me, I'm gonna go Jennifer Maia on this one. I think I don't know. She's kind of having. I don't want to say a resurgence, but I don't know. Maybe I think she's kind of getting it together. I think we might have even. Look, she lost the Valentina fight convincingly, but she had taken the scorecard off her, which no one had done it like that in a while up until that point. And look, she did lose to Kaylin Shugain and Manafort not too long after. No shame there, right? I mean, look at where Manning is now. Kaylin Shugain has been like right there, like could be getting a title shot if she gets the right wins together again. I don't know. I'm leaning Jennifer Maia on this one, but not by a lot.
Mm-hmm. Same page. Yeah, I'm expecting Jennifer Maia to get the win here. She displayed really great striking, honestly, against Casey O'Neill. Like, that was a win that I don't think anybody saw coming. Casey O'Neill, obviously the younger, more hyped up, kind of prospect, 9-0, obviously heading into that one. And Jennifer Maia, man, she's really put it together. She obviously stopped Casey O'Neill, but she also went ahead and halted the momentum of Marina Moroz, who had a 3-5 winning streak as well. So she's faced a couple of younger opponents. She's been able to stifle them. I think she's going to go ahead and do the same. Well, I mean, I think Artrero is actually older, but you know what I mean? Like, I think she'll be able to stifle Vivian Artrero here to get a win. I think it'll be a close competitive fight, though, if I had to guess. In terms of the rest of this main card, man, there is a lot of very, very good fights. Prelims have a couple of good fights. Which ones are you most looking forward to?
Fuck, man. There's so many good options. But I got to go with this one. Adrian Yanez, Jonathan Martinez. Big fight for both of you guys. Obviously, Adrian Yanez coming off his first UFC loss. He's had losses outside of the UFC, but he's coming off his first one in the UFC. And Jonathan Martinez kind of silently, and funny enough, similarly to his teammate Chris Gutierrez, kind of builds up a little streak going. Silently is right there and is getting a shot here against a guy and Adrian Yanez who had a little bit of hype build up on him, but got slowed down after his loss, which a lot of people kind of I don't want to say gave up on Yanez, but kind of went away on that, which is a little sad because I think he still has a lot of potential and he's still very young and he's very fun and exciting. He was getting a lot of Jorge Masvidal kind of comparisons there for a little bit. I think it was kind of the style, the personality. And even the fight style, I think, a bit. But I'm excited to see both these guys back. I know Jonathan Martinez isn't much of a talker or a trash talker or anything like that. He lets him speak in the octagon. And Adrian Yanez isn't necessarily that unless I think you come at him. But I think there's a lot of potential for this fight to be great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's probably the fight I'm most excited for on the main card. Adrian Yanez is so fucking exciting, dude. Always comes to bang. And granted, he lost to Rob Font, but dude, hey. No shame in losing to Rob Font. That was a banger, man. They both rocked each other early. They're both throwing, a lot of leather. Very excited to see him back. Like you mentioned, Jonathan Martinez riding a great winning streak as well. Michelle Pahea stepping in here against Andre Petroski. Going to be a banger of a fight. Obviously, this is Michelle Pahea moving up to middleweight. Should be a very exciting one, man. Cameron Simon's back on the main card. Darren the Damage Elkins back with his fucking chest tattoo, dude. It's just... He's been through it all, man, but he's still sticking around here, approaching 40 years old. Going to go ahead and take on TJ Brown, man. Got to shout out, obviously, Terrence McKinney, who, Jesus Christ. God damn it.
That's good, though, isn't
it? Guys, this is a little sound-off secret. This is a sound-off secret right here. Angel will sometimes fucking text me jokes in the chat that he won't say on air. And most of the time I don't laugh at them, but that fucking broke me. I'm not going to say what he wrote.
That wouldn't get me canceled, would it?
It just to be like respectful, I'm not going to say it. You know what I mean?
You could get away with it.
What does that mean?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Anyways, Terrence McKinney's taking on short notice replacement Brandon Marriott, I believe, out of the New England Cartel.
UFC newcomer.
Yeah, UFC newcomer. Excited to see him. Chris Gutierrez is back. Ashley Yoder, who I feel like I haven't seen Ashley Yoder fight in forever. Yeah, she's been out of action for over 2.5 years. Wow.
the even 8-8 Ashley Yoder, dude. Holy shit.
Coming back to take on Emily Ducote, former Invicta champion. 1-2 in the UFC, but her 2 losses, Angela Hill and Lupita Godinez, were both competitive fights, very entertaining. So I still think she has some hope in the UFC. Plus, she's an Oklahoma City native, so I got to go and shout out my girl. And then obviously, Irina ELYXR. Axiva? I don't know. Apologies. Russian Ronda is back. This girl got really hyped up after her first fight where she dominated. So yeah, she'll be back here against Melissa Dixon. Any fights you want to talk about before we go ahead and move on, man?
No, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, like you mentioned, obviously, Andre Petroski and Michel Pereira, obviously another one. You know me, I'm a Michel Pereira stan. Still have a lot of faith in him. Chris Sue, Warriors in the cap off his career in the UFC. And obviously, Andre Petroski coming in on short notice, Josh. This wasn't the original opponent. This was actually supposed to originally be Marc-Andre Barrios, which I think that would have been a very good fight. I wouldn't say, I don't want to say Petroski is a better, I think I was more excited for the previous matchup rather than this one, but I'm still interested because I like Petroski, but I'm conflicted because I also like Pereira. So it hurts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a fight that could have easily been on a pay-per-view, dude. To be completely honest with you, I'm shocked this fight's on a random fight night, not even in the main or co-main. They could have easily put these guys in the main event. I wouldn't even have an issue with it. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that, yeah.
But, yeah, man. I mean, look, I think it's a solid card. I'm much more excited for it than I was UFC Vegas 80, I will say. But Angel, I mean, let's be honest here, you and I, on the Courtside Soundoff podcast, episode 236, okay?
Holy shit.
KSI versus Tommy Fury. The prime card is the real event of the weekend. Can we say that? Is that being too harsh?
Man, I gotta agree. I gotta agree.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I mean, it is what it is. Because this card, dude, has really captivated. Everybody likes to shit on influencer boxing, but this card's everywhere. It's all over MMA fighting. It's all over VJPen.com, the greatest MMA site on the planet. It's all over everywhere, dude. And it's because of the build, I'd say, to the co-main event, but also I think the main event has a lot of attractions too. And obviously the whole card itself is very exciting. But we'll go ahead and start off with the main event, dude. Because KSI, back for the first time since his no contest with Joe Fournier in May, where he landed that beautiful elbow to knock out Joe Fournier.
That beautiful short elbow.
Yeah, picture perfect. You must have trained in that one, And regardless, undefeated, 4-0-0-1, 3 knockouts. The YouTuber who, called out Jake Paul a lot. Apparently, the story is, and I believe even Jake Paul and Nikisa have kind of confirmed this to a degree. KSI, after, the Joe Fournier fight, he wanted to fight Jake Paul, but Jake Paul decided to fight Nate Diaz. So what did KSI did? He called out Tommy Fury, and he'll get the fight. They're going to go ahead and face off in a cruiserweight main event, 6 rounds. Obviously, Tommy Fury, TNT, coming off a win over Jake Paul in February. A split decision win. He got dropped in the last round. KSI is hopeful that he can land that perfect shot to not just drop, but knock out the undefeated Brit. What do you think, man? Obviously, the biggest test of his career. Obviously, KSI is a relatively big underdog, I would say. And I think
you have the ads for that?
I can pull them up if you give me 1 second, because this is a pro bout, people. I know there was talk that you can't bet on it. It's not a professional fight.
I have it according to Tapology, which I don't know where they get their odds from, but KSI is a +260 and Tommy's a -350.
Okay, I got the FanDuel odds, so I can give you an official one. It's -380 for Tommy Fury, +270 for KSI. So essentially pretty similar. I expect the odds to widen over the next couple days. That being said, we're pretty close to fight time. Angel, give me your excitement level. What do you think about this one, man?
I'm pumped, man. I mean, as far as Misfits, this is probably the best card they've probably ever made. It's nice to say that because I've said that in the past, but this only continues to build upon that, and it's still improving. But I think right now this is peak Misfits right now. And I remember I talked about Kingpin and how I thought they at one point had the best boxing, influencer boxing kind of card. And as far as even actual performances, I think this will even top that. I'm hoping, especially with the kind of guys they have and the kind of how you have to give credit, man, because at the end of the day, these creators, these entertainers have really buckled down and proved I think like the pinnacle was existing examples, like a guy like King Kenny, right? Lost multiple times, got some decisions he probably shouldn't have got, and now, bam, he's here against Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, fighting for their 175 title in the Misfits. The Misfits, light heavyweight title, which is crazy that we're calling Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor a light heavyweight, but that's just how it is, Especially a guy who fought literally at bantamweight when he was competing in MMA. Isn't that wild when you think about it?
It is pretty crazy.
I agree. I think if he were to take boxing serious, he'd probably fight a different weight class. But dude, he was talking about struggling to make weight during the press conference earlier today. He said this last pound was killing him, and he was telling King Kenny if they could change the weight class. Obviously, I think a little bashful there, but it is what it is. But fuck, man, just to kind of get into it, this is something I wanted to mention to you. With how crazy 2023 has been, I think that will bleed into the influencer cards, Josh. Who do you think has the bigger chance of the upset? And granted, Logan Paul, Dillon Danis, I think that one's kind of a toss-up because Logan hasn't boxed in a while. He obviously had the injury because of the WWE. Dillon has not boxed at all and hasn't competed professionally in any sort of combat sports in a fat minute. Who has the better chance of winning, Josh, in making that and trumping up your 2023 bingo card? Dillon Danis or KSI? I want to hear it from you.
Oh, man. I got to say it's Dillon Danis. It's got to be Dillon Danis.
Really?
I mean, look,
Dillon over JJ?
Dillon over JJ. For the simple fact that, look, Logan Paul, we haven't seen him in a real fight. Like, even the Mayweather fight wasn't a real fight. That was an exhibition where I think Mayweather was trying to get him out of there, but it was so odd because the size difference was so big. And, look, I don't know what the fuck Dillon Danis has been doing. It looks like he's been doing nothing but get beaten up by bouncers, getting ratioed to Twitter threads, But, that's just what it appears from the outset. I mean, now, granted, that was until the whole beef with Logan. Now he's like a fan favorite. We didn't really talk about it, but, it is really funny to me that, Dillon Danis was, a monster brown belt. Fucking going toe-to-toe with Gordon and shit. Granted, pretty average black belt. I think everybody knows that. But, he was a fucking monster for a time. Everybody hated him. Posted nudes of Logan Paul's girlfriend. Instant fucking million followers, you know what I mean? It is pretty funny. But what I will say is, I think Dillon Danis has a much higher, look, I think they're both going to lose, just to be, to lay it out there before we break into our actual predictions.
It's kind of crazy, though, because he's turning, into, an anti-hero, or, a likable villain, a big-time heel,
he's turning into a big-time heel. I'll give him credit. He's definitely...
People like him. They ran polls. Misfits themselves ran polls, when they were doing their, workouts, yesterday. And, they were like, you want to see Logan win or Dillon win? And Dillon had a pretty sizable win. There was a lot of people on that live stream, and I was, kind of surprised, man. I thought people like this villain arc.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of people just hate Logan Paul too. I mean, Logan Paul's not really doing himself any favors, the crypto zoo stuff. And now, granted, there's not a single thing you could say, towards Logan Paul that's, a bad thing and not say the same thing about Dillon Danis, you know what I mean? They're pretty similar people, I will say. But, in terms of the fights themselves, I think the main and the co-main have a clear favorite and a clear underdog. The reality for JJ is just, if Jake Paul couldn't do it, I don't think he'll be able to. And I understand why he booked the fight, and I understand why he thinks he can, because JJ's not a conventional boxer, and the thing I will always say is, that I'll give him credit for, is he's working on his strengths. You know what I mean? There's two ways to go about an influencer boxing. You can find a coach who's focusing on your strengths. And in JJ's case, he's a great gas tank. He's a very natural athlete. Before boxing, he was in terrible shape. You know what I mean? He had a lot of great physical capabilities, and his trainers have focused on that. They've built on his power, they've worked on his cardio, and they've kind of let him more take the lead on that in terms of not really focusing on fundamentals and technical stuff, because you're not going to beat a guy like Tommy Fury with just technicals. It's not going to happen. Jake Paul tried to do it, and I didn't think that fight was very close. He did get a knockdown, and I think I gave him 2 rounds, but I don't think JJ's going to be able to do it. I think Dillon, he's much smaller than Logan, but look, Logan's on the Sazul. Let's not lie about that. He's peeled out of his fucking tree right now. He's probably going to gas if I had to guess. There is an avenue to victory for Dillon Danis. Are you on the same page?
I think there's a path, but I think this one's the most toss-up, right? Because, like I just said, they both haven't competed in a while at all. So what are we going to expect from them? You know what I mean? And Logan keeps saying, well, I've been training, man. I've been training. But at the same time, training and competing are two different things. You know, getting that time, actually being in there, you know, your cardio, your conditioning, how it actually feels when you're pushing it and those moments and when to pull back, especially him. Like you say, he's a big guy who carries a lot of muscle. You know, he could come out in that first round. Like you said, he's dealing with Dillon, who's been berating his girl on Twitter, and he could come out angry and fuck up and make a mistake potentially. Now, will Dillon capitalize on that mistake? That's another story, you know? I mean, there's a lot to it. You know, I just thought about something. What is it? It's to be 6 rounds. Holy shit. Okay. Potential for a draw. Kind of scary, just saying.
Yeah, well, that's kind of that's why I don't like the 6 rounds, man, because 6 rounds is nothing. But that's what Misfits likes. They say like 6 rounds and 8 rounds, it's more entertaining if there's less rounds. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it is what it is. Since we kind of got that out of the way, what do you think about the main event, dude? Kind of break it down technically as much as you can. We both kind of think that Tommy's probably going to get the win, but what do you think about the fight on paper?
See, the thing is, I think JJ is not even going to come out boxing like he did in his last fight against, oh my god, what's his name?
Joe Fournier.
Against Joe Fournier. I don't think he'll come out like that, which is interesting because I think one of the toughest things the one tough thing, I guess, that Tommy and his dad have to worry about or have to deal with is how's he going to look? Like, they really don't have an idea. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because with Jake, you can see his progression. You can kind of see how he is. He's been pretty similar bouts about. Whereas JJ, I feel like each one, like all his bouts, he hasn't really looked the same in any of them. You know what I mean? He's looked like a different guy each time. And kind of what he's leaned on in all of those. He hasn't looked at all the same. So I think the level of difficulty for Tommy that comes in is, I think you really can't prepare for this guy. All you have to do to prepare for is just be fundamentally sound and box the fuck out of this guy. Cause that's what you know what to do. And for JJ, it's going to be a lot of heart, a lot of using your cardio and using all the boxing knowledge you have developed during the time and, those sparring rounds you have put in because you know what you're going to expect against Tommy. You know how he's going to come out and box. Where your one advantage that you do have is, funny enough, just your randomness. You know, your lack of inexperience in a way can help you, or it could also be his downfall in the end. Look, I've always thought no matter what, this is a hard fight for JJ, and he is definitely not the favorite, and you should definitely probably not put money on him. But I think there is an avenue to the victory. It's going to be very hard, and ideally, I'm going to say this now, and I always mention this. There's times where you would prefer a certain guy to win because of what can happen from the benefits that come from that. Because if JJ is to win here, Josh, the Jake Paul fight is significantly huge. Mm-hmm. And even bigger than it'd be massive. That's the thing. You know, we as people as a whole and as the community, I'd say the people who follow these influencers are kind of hoping for JJ to win here because this is his big moment. He's going to continue that trend of defying the odds and time again. We mentioned this about JJ. The thing about JJ is that he's one of these guys who's done a little bit of everything. He's been a YouTuber. He's made music. He's performed. He's competed. He's sold out. He's played soccer in stadiums with his friends with thousands of people in the crowd. Does it still continue now? Does the fairy tale stop here? You know, mm-hmm. I can't say. I don't think it will, sadly, but you know, you can be hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can be hopeful. And look, I actually kind of agree with a couple of things you said there. I do think that JJ is going to come out differently. I don't think he's going to come out as aggressive. I think there's definitely there's going to be like little things here and there that I think he has to change, you know? And I think he's going to because he's very well aware of what he's walking into. Like a lot of people seem to hate JJ, but I will say that he's not on the same delusional plane that Jake Paul is. And no, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know how, and granted, part of it, I don't know how much of that is promotional talk from Jake, but, the talk about fighting Canelo and like, I could have done better against Arthur Beterbiev than Joe Smith Jr. and stuff like that, like stuff like that, like JJ's never said that. JJ's been like, yeah, Arthur Beterbiev would fuck me up. So like he's more realistic about the boxing career and the boxing space than Jake Paul is. And that's why I think he's not going to come out swinging like a dumbass here. He's not going to be as aggressive as he was against FaZe Temper or Joe Fournier or, whoever.
Because he could afford to be in those.
He could afford to be. This one, man, like Tommy Fury, here's the reality. Like a lot of people, and this is what I said for the Jake Paul fight too, like Tommy Fury's record is bad. He does not have great punching power. He's not like a physical specimen. He's not anything like his brother. But here's the reality. He has boxing fundamentals. He has a pretty solid jab. And he has experience. He knows how to cut off the ring. He knows how to beat cans. You know what I mean? Like, people shit on him for beating all those cans before the Jake Paul fight. And I'm like, guys, that's just boxing. I expect him to go out there and probably beat KSI relatively easily. I do think that maybe JJ will make it to a decision. Maybe he'll have a moral victory by winning a round or getting some big moments. I don't think he's going to be completely whitewashed. I think Tommy Fury's way too hittable to just completely whitewash JJ. But I don't expect him to win.
Well, what would be the most shocking result out of this bout for you?
KSI wins decision. That would be
really
shocking.
More shocking than a knockout?
Yes, because I think a knockout could come. Tommy Fury is very hittable. Like, I don't think JJ carries the power, and I don't think he'll be able to hit him clean enough, But I mean, weird shit's happened, dude. I mean, he got dropped by Jake Paul. Like, granted, you could argue that was a slip, but it was a legitimate knockdown,
Isn't that crazy though?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so I would say the most surprising thing would be JJ by decision.
And a decisive decision at that, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
I could see a close decision because it could happen. It could be there could be some mistake on the scorecard too, or it could genuinely could turn into a close sloppy fight. Because, like we said, it is 6 rounds. I mean, yeah, that could definitely be a possible outcome. I think, but a decisive JJ decision with a relatively decent boxing, lesson, masterclass would be pretty impressive.
I agree. And that's kind of the thing. Because I could see JJ winning a controversial decision. I mean, it's his company, it's his promotion. So it's like, fuck it,
plot armor.
Yeah. Plot armor. Yes. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'd say a clear, clean decision win for JJ would be the most surprising thing. But that's just me. Look, dude, I think it's about time to move on to co-main event. I think we're pretty much in alignment there. Co-main event. Obviously, we know Logan. We know the story here. Logan Paul and Dillon Danis very heated. A lot of talk about Logan Paul's fiance, Nina, and the pictures and all the Twitter trolling and all that stuff. They're gonna finally meet in the ring, hopefully meet in the ring. Like, look, it's not official until they're in there on fight night. That's just the way it is,
What was the thing we saw a few weeks back? It was someone didn't make it into the octagon or didn't want to walk into the octagon or some shit.
Yeah, there was a guy who refused. I can't think of what promotion it was.
So and so refused to enter the octagon. It was the guy that Raul just beat, Terrence. Some guy that guy fought. He refused to enter the octagon.
So yeah, unless Dillon Danis refuses to enter the octagon and we have Mike Perry, this is going to be the fight for co-main event on Saturday. Look, man, I think, Logan Paul has the experience. I think he has the size. He has virtually everything going in his corner.
I found it, by the way. Terry refused to enter the cage. Continue.
Yeah, regardless. I mean, Logan Paul has basically everything on his side, but at the same time, hasn't won a boxing match yet. Dillon Danis, he's a tough guy. We know that from his years of MMA and jiu-jitsu and so on and so forth. Logan Paul's a huge favorite. Will he be able to get the first win of his boxing career?
You would imagine so, right? If we can narrow it down with the little of knowledge we do have, he should win, right? I mean, if he says he has been training, like I said, training isn't going to necessarily translate to results. You train to get results. He hasn't gotten those results yet.
Yeah. So
that's the big thing. And on top of that, Dillon hasn't competed. He's been dealing with injuries. Hasn't even been boxing. Is there something there? He trolled us at the open workouts. What is he hiding, or is he just joking around because he doesn't want to show how bad it really is until the night of? So I don't know. Also, Josh, by the way, Conor McGregor might potentially be in attendance.
I have heard this.
And Dillon said he said pretty sure he'd be there, which isn't a yes.
That is not a yes.
That is not a yes. Like I always say, if it's not a yes or a no, then it's a no.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
maybe means a no.
Yeah, but could you fucking imagine if they have fucking...
What a crowd, right?
They have Conor McGregor and probably Jake Paul in attendance. Like, that'd be fucking... Although it's not confirmed.
I wonder if Jake will be there.
It's not been confirmed. Logan said actually the opposite. He said that Jake may not show.
That's a little fucked up, man. I'm not gonna lie. As a brother, I would kind of want my brother there to be in my corner personally. Not gonna lie, but hey, man, I don't have any siblings, right? I can't really speak a lot on those kind of relations, but me personally, I would personally want, my brother to be there, especially if it's someone who was also competing to understand what I was going through. Regardless, though, I will say this, Josh, before we get into the prelims here. If JJ is the win, he needs to announce in that ring that he wants Jake Paul that night, right? Like you can't just pussyfoot it. You know what would go hard as fuck if Logan won, he called out his brother too. It's funny because I really don't know where Logan will go if he does win, and if Dillon wins, I really don't know where Dillon will go either. So I mean, it's gonna be a fascinating night of results and kind of theory crafting what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. Like, looking at, if Logan wins, I have no idea who he's going to fight. He's called out Conor hardcore, but, that's not going to happen. He's so much bigger than him,
Yeah.
I know he'll go back to the WWE. I have no idea what Logan Paul's boxing ambitions are. Like, I have no idea what he wants
fun.
to do.
I think it's mainly just fun, and, I don't know else who he would be willing to compete with that has a name or some sort of relevance. Cause shit, dude, at least I'll put it like this, Conor McGregor isn't an option for Logan, but shit, at least Conor McGregor has said JJ's name, Yeah,
I mean, JJ actually, I give more, cause JJ's actually not crazy, cause Jake Paul is significantly better, I don't want to say significantly bigger than KSI, but he's definitely the bigger guy, Yeah. Logan Paul is significantly bigger than Jake Paul, you know what I mean? They're both the ones calling for it, and it's shit, dude, I think KSI is probably the one, right?
Could you imagine JJ versus Conor McGregor? Dude, what a fucking timeline!
In the UK too, UK or Ireland,
dude,
weird shit's happened, dude.
No, you're not wrong. We've seen it, dude. We're living through it right now.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And look, dude, I mean, to kind of go ahead and cap it off, yeah, I'm expecting Logan Paul to get the win. Probably by, I want to say by knockout, but I can't say for sure, probably a decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see both results, obviously.
A lot of unknowns for both of these guys. So,
yeah.
We'll see. In terms of the undercard, dude, this is, like you said it yourself, best Misfits boxing card to date. Not even close. I mean, what fights do you most want to talk about, dude? I mean, I think the entire main card, except for that tag team match, is very solid.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the tag team match, it's, and it's sad because I think if you separate those guys and it's just them on their own, it's actually pretty good bouts. Yeah, I mean, B-Dave and, I don't know who Alex Wasabi's partner is, but, I mean, they kind of had some beef going. I mean, that matchup would have been good right there. Luis Pineda versus, Alex Wasabi would have been a good matchup if it just would have been them. But I mean, shit, dude, we could literally talk about all of them. I think they all have something to look forward to, but I think we just go one down to make it kind of easy on us. Dean DeGray versus Wally Shirks. These guys have been prevented from competing against each other for a while now, and they finally get the opportunity. Wally Shirks gets his chance at vengeance to take on Dean DeGray and avenge himself from his loss last year in November. And since then, he's racked up a few wins, won the tag team match with Dean DeGray, in which they proceeded to fight each other in the ring, even though they were teammates and won it. There's some tension here, and I can't wait to see it translate into the ring that night because, look, the main and co-main event, yeah, they have some sauce to it, you know what I mean? But damn, are these boys fucking cooking in the kitchen, man? It's Bobby Flay up in that bitch.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Bobby Flay up on that bitch, dude. This entire card's excellent. I gotta give shouts to my man Salt Poppy. I'm a Salt Poppy.
Are you a Salt Poppy stan?
I mean,
it's Slim Poppy now, dude.
Slim Poppy. Hey, you know what? Here's exactly it, Angel. As a man who's lost a lot of weight, I don't talk about it much these days, but in sophomore, junior year of high school, Angel, I lost like fucking 85 pounds, you know, around that much. Like I put the work in. So I love to see when a fucking grown ass man gets in that gym and puts in that work, loses that weight. It, you know what I mean? It fires me up, you know? I love to see that shit. And Salt Poppy, Slim Poppy, like you said, coming back here to take on Slim Alabar. Gonna be a banger of a fight. Excited to see him back, dude. I wanted to see that fight for a long time, same as everybody else. So I'm excited to see him back, dude. Dean the Great Waleed Sharks. God damn, what a rematch that's gonna be, dude. The first fight, still the best fight in Misfits boxing history. Arguably the best fight in influencer boxing history, still to this day. What was that? 4 knockdowns, I believe, in total traded in that like 2 or 3 rounds, something crazy.
It was crazy too, because they were good shots too, man. It wasn't just some wild.
They weren't wingy.
Yeah.
Like both of these guys have some legitimate boxing skill, and you've seen it in their fights over the last, you know, I mean, since Misfits started, really, you know. So, very, very excited to go ahead and see that rematch, man. Also on the main card, King Kenny, Anthony Taylor, Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. Excited to see him back. Wingson Nunes, my mate Nate should be interesting. Hopefully. We also got to give a shout out to Chase Demore, the GOAT. He's back. So
yeah, being trained by his former opponent, Alan Belcher, taking him under his wing, man. Respect.
Which is pretty sick, dude. I mean, that's pretty fucking sick. So,
by the way, our boy Alan Belcher is fighting Roy Nelson in Bare Knuckle MMA for their fucking title here, like in a month or 2.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, but like they are, yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
And you know what? I think Jorge even announced that, like, the winner of that fight's gonna fight JDS for the title.
Sounds like a banger. Dude, Alan Belcher's career renaissance post UFC, pretty cool, right?
It's one of the most underrated stories in combat sports. It's up there. It's up there. But yeah, man. I mean, any closing thoughts on this card, dude? I'm excited for it. I know you are as well. And we're just a couple of days away.
I'm too excited for this. I am too excited for this. It's actually a little scary how excited I am for it. It just goes to show our age, I think, right?
Yeah.
But who could blame me, man? I mean, these are guys I grew up with. You know, these are guys that I was watching during high school. You know, and before that in middle school, like. I've lived this whole YouTuber influencer boxing card since its inception, and it's nice to be here now several years later, which is weird to say, and see how big it's gotten, and even seeing our own platform grow in the process, and hopefully continue to grow and get even bigger and better.
Mm-hmm. For sure, man, for sure. And Misfits Boxing, that's what's going to be carrying this for the long haul, man. Carrying this influencer boxing thing to the long haul. And this is by far their best card to date. Like you said, we watched these guys in high school, man. I mean, going back, what was it? Like fucking our junior year of high school, I want to say, was the first KSI fight, 2018, I want to say. So, like, we've been following these guys and this kind of story for years now, bro. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, first bout was in 2018.
Yep. There we go.
And then their second bout, we had already graduated high school, which is a fucking trip.
It really is. It really is. So, yeah, man. Excited to see that card going down this Saturday, man. On to Zone pay-per-view. I believe $50. So more than KSI's last couple fights, but still cheaper than a normal boxing pay-per-view. So
there you go.
You gotta give credit where it's deserved. I saw a boxing journalist, one of the ones I don't like, one of the ones that just always bitches and moans, you know? Like boxing journalists.
Some fucking soy boy.
Yeah, but I will say boxing journalists complain way more. Guys, if you think MMA media is bad, like, go hang out in boxing for a little bit. Those dudes do nothing but bitch and moan. So,
also, they're all like old school guys. I mean, they've all been around for like a fucking eternity too, right?
That's true. But I saw one of them complaining about the price of the pay-per-view, and I'm like, bro, like, Canelo Charlo, where there were 7 punches exchanged around, was $90. So, I mean, just, you know, you got to take your wins and your losses, bro. So, I mean, this is a win for Misfits and KSI. Charging this pay-per-view is a lighter amount. But I think we should move on to the news because, you know, I said at the start of the show, like, I went on vacation, you know, and during that time, basically,
oh my God,
the MMA world exploded.
I'm sorry, by the way. The Dillon Danis, Logan press conference has just started, and JJ and them, I'm assuming, will come out here in a bit. It just started literally 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
And Dillon looks ridiculous. Just if you want to check out Twitter here while we're live.
Logan Paul brought out Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator to the presser. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. All right, whatever. Anyways, dude, yeah, I mean, we should go ahead and move on to news because UFC 294 is the dude. This fucking it was GoofCon 5. It was like the Pentagon. It was GoofCon 5, dude. Because Dana, and I'll actually, you know what, Angel, I gotta say this straight up before we get into the actual news itself. If you've listened to the podcast before, if you've heard us before, you know that I shit on, not really shit on, if you've listened to the podcast before, you know that I have no problem kind of giving Dana White shit when I feel like it's deserved. And I feel like it's deserved a lot recently. At the same time, I'm a grown-ass man, and I can go ahead and say when I'm wrong. And Dana White went out there, UFC 294 is falling apart, and he goes out there and puts a fucking filet mignon on the grill, bro. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, Charles Oliveira out of the main event. In steps Alexander Volkanovski. Co-main event. Paulo Costa is out, and Kamaru Usman is in. Give me your reaction to this news, dude. I mean, the pay-per-view's better. It's better. We should go and say it.
Yeah, in a way, right? In a way, I'd say losing Charles Oliveira is still a pretty heavy hit, but at least we got this fight guaranteed for a second time, Josh. I think that's the good thing about it, because in a way we didn't have this fight fully guaranteed, and now we have it secured, and we still have a Charles Oliveira second fight secured, no matter what, or not even necessarily secure for Islam, but whoever the winner is, whether it's Volk or Islam. So that makes it very interesting. The only person who did get cucked is Mateus Gamrot, but, that's how life goes, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And obviously, there's a reason they call him Alexander the Great, right, Josh? I mean, he stepped in on as short notice you can. I mean, I saw on Twitter, Josh, no joke, Craig Jones was taking a flight yesterday to Australia to meet up with Volk. So they're not fucking playing games. They got the ball rolling. They're ready to go to Abu Dhabi here in a few days. I'm sure Volk is not fucking eating at all and getting ready to cut weight, which, I mean, kind of exciting, right? Because he's coming in a little, how do I put it? Not all the lights on him, not all the media's been on him. He hasn't been getting followed on the embedded. So, it's a little different of a feeling, right? It's a little looser. And also the trippier thing is Volk has had a fight in between. Islam has not. Islam's last opponent was Volk, and he was preparing for a completely different opponent in Oliveira. I mean, the storyline here is insane. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I mean, honestly, we don't want to get too in-depth into it because this is literally going down next week, and we have so much to talk about next week because this card is fucking insane.
It really is, dude. And I'm trying hard to not get fired up. Because I know that, you were probably doing the same thing I was. I was getting these fight announcements. I'm on vacation, and I'm just let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. They keep on coming, the news. And we're just so close, dude. We're so close to it. Literally next Saturday. We are there. We are there. And you know what the cool thing about this is, too, is, Volkanovski, he got surgery, I believe, after his win over Yair Rodriguez, but he's been good to go since August. And he said that he was hoping to get that call for the rematch and he was going to get in training. Obviously, the nod went to Oliveira. But even then, he was starting to train because he literally was just about to sign a fight with ELYXR for January. So, Volkanovski, I'm not sure how much he's been training, but from my understanding, he has been in the gym to a degree, So, he's not coming in here just nobody. And Kamaru Usman's been in the gym for a while now. I know that he was in talks to fight Wonder Boy. I don't know why that fight fell apart. I know that there were some talks of him fighting Bilal Muhammad, but he's been in the gym as well. So it's not like these guys are just coming in off the fucking couch. You know what I mean? Obviously, we'll still have to see how it goes. I mean, it's not easy to come in on a fight on 2 weeks' notice, but shit, dude, if Michael Bisping can knock out Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice, anything can happen. So
you let him know.
That's the one I always use, Who Michael Bisping had the greatest quote of all time. I really can't remember it fully, but he was like, if you believe in God, and you believe that God put Jesus on this earth, and he did this, and he did that, and he's this all-knowing, powerful creature who, is able to stop world hunger and do these incredible things, then you can believe that I'm going to knock the fuck out of Luke Rockhold 2 weeks from now. And I'm like, fucking let's go, I hope Volkanovski does a similar thing. Hey, if you can believe that John Jones is clean under USADA, Just bust out something. I tried to segue that in because we're about to move on to USADA, but.
I mean, shit, we still got to talk about Hasbant Kamaru, right?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that one? Obviously, Kamaru, like I said, has been in training a little bit, but wait a minute, the part I forgot to mention, dude. The winner.
This is why I brought it back.
Yep, the winner of Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev will get the next title shot at Sean Strickland. That is confirmed.
Dricus is so angry right now.
He has to be, dude. He has to be.
But Josh, let's face it. We already knew this was probably going to happen anyways with Paulo and fucking Chimaev.
Yeah.
Don't fool yourselves, people, if you are upset. I remember saying something to her. I was like, damn, now we're going to see Izzy and Dricus fight not for a title, probably. Which is good and bad in a way, I guess. I don't know how to necessarily feel about it. I'm conflicted. Regardless, though, Josh, this is kind of cool for Kamaru because, Josh, Kamaru still gets his chance at fighting at 185 when that option kind of didn't seem like realistic because he was never going to fight Izzy. Now, I think if you're Kamaru Usman, you have a fire lit under your ass again, right? You have you have to beat one guy to get to the title. And that guy is Chimaev, and right after that you get Sean Strickland. And Josh, if he becomes double champ, look, I said Matt Hughes is above Kamaru Usman in the welterweight go conference, and I still stand by that. But if he gets a second title, he might have to move to number 2. I know there's some people who are so mad now. I know there's some people who are fucking coping so hard right now. But regardless, this is a pretty sick moment that we're going to experience. This is what I talk about, Josh, when I'm talking about what's on the line for fights, storylines, fights that matter. It isn't just about the fight being good. It's about things that are on the line for the fight. And the possibility of Kamaru Usman achieving a second title in his UFC, in his competition tenure, not even necessarily UFC tenure. I don't want to underplay other people who've done it in lesser and smaller promotions. I want to say lesser. Don't want to disrespect anybody. But this is a big moment. This is history if he can get through Chimaev. And for Chimaev, this is a kind of a cool thing too because he moved up to 185, left 170. We never got to see the Kamaru fight, and we kind of wanted to see that one. We wanted to see that 170. Now we get it at 185. It still happened. We have been fucking blessed by the MMA gods.
Yeah, and you know what the coolest part of it too, dude? Is I think the fight might even be better now that they're not fucking killing themselves to make 170. It's not like just Kamaru or just Khamzat were killing themselves to get there. It was both of them, bro. They were both having so much trouble making that weight. Khamzat obviously couldn't make it anymore. Kamaru, he was probably going to move up anyway, he talked about it. So yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm so psyched for this fight. I think that, I don't want to break into it too much though. I mean, we're so close to it, but yeah, I'm very excited for this fight. Very excited to see it. I'm so happy they don't have to cut weight for it too. Let's fucking go, dude. Gonna be an excellent fight. Very excited to see it. Regardless though, dude, I mean, we gotta go ahead and move to the next news because this is also very big news. And in my opinion, it's the best news of, well, not the best news, but I mean, UFC 294 is pretty sick. But the UFC and USADA, they're going to be ending their partnership in 2 months. January 1st, 2024, USADA will no longer be involved with the UFC. As of now, the UFC does not have any drug testing lined up. So we're back to the TRT era, baby. What do you think about this one, man? Obviously, a lot of this had to do with Conor McGregor and that whole controversy of him leaving and exiting the pool and not getting a waiver. But he is officially now back in training. But even USADA's they may not follow the 6-month rule because we're not really going to be a part of it anymore.
Yep. I mean, shit, dude. Obviously very interesting. I almost wonder if they're maybe are doing this is all going on specifically because of Conor. Obviously, a lot of people are thinking that. But at the same time, I'm not fully convinced that this whole storyline's done. I think it probably, at some point, we'll find out that the UFC's probably either come to a new deal or they're with VADA or they're going to do their own thing. Whatever they decide to do. We're still going to see because technically, they're still under USADA until January 1st of 2024, right?
That is correct. Yes.
So even then, we're not there yet fully. So we still got to wait. But at the same time, someone who has worked with and it's obviously not the same scenario, but someone who's worked with a company that got sold and then new people came in, certain things don't always flow the same, and especially when you're transitioning into something new, certain people get lazy, stuff doesn't get done, so maybe certain fighters won't be get tested as much or tested at all, whatever. I'm just speculating here. I don't know this for a fact, but it is possible that stuff like that and guys could already be getting ready to do things. This is a whole other. This specific topic could be its own podcast, to be honest, Josh.
Yeah, it really could. I mean, what I will say is that, this is awesome. I gotta be honest with you guys, I fucking hate USADA. Like, I've been very upfront about that. I don't think USADA is catching that many people. I think they instituted that rule that they don't have to tell when they even catch people anyway. They have different rules depending on who you are, which has always been, what's the point? Like, can we just be honest, dude? Like, what's the point in, like, for example, like, what's the point in having USADA if you're gonna give John Jones, and let's be honest, John Jones failed multiple times under USADA. But, like, the whole point is you fail more than twice. It's 2 strikes and you're out. Like, that's the whole point. John Jones, after his second drug test failure, you're supposed to get, like, 48 months or something. Ended up getting, like, 11. Fucking Tom Lawler had the same exact drug in his system, a similar amount, got suspended for 2 years, never fought again. Frank Mir lost 2 years of his career for a similar case. Conor McGregor was allowed to exit the pool to heal his broken leg, but fuck Chris Weidman, right? Like, that's why USADA is just pointless. Like, what are we doing here? It's not helping anybody. It's helping a couple of select guys, but, like, I don't know. I just have my own personal issues with USADA, and I'm happy that they're gone. I think the concept of waking up guys like Alexander Volkanovski at 4 a.m. on fight day is fucking stupid, and there's tons of stuff like that. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing, because I think that we went too much in the opposite direction. I think after the TRT era, they went too much in the wrong direction. I think that they could have instituted some random drug testing, but to the degree that they haven't, to the degree of not letting some of these guys who need better medical care after going through, like, a broken leg or something, not giving them and allowing them to exit the pool and do certain things here and there, I just think it sucks. So, I'm happy that it's over, and good luck to the fighters. Good luck to they're happy, so, that's what matters, man. Regardless, dude, this is a fun one. This is going to be a light topic right in the middle of news. This is going to be a quick one. Did you see Francis Ngannou shatter a fucking door earlier this week?
Yes. Yeah,
so if people didn't see this one, Francis Ngannou was, he was, like, going into, like, a subway or some shit. And he did the old Tim Robinson. He went to go pull on a push door, and he fucking shattered the door. There's some guy on Reddit who posted it along with, like, a picture of Ngannou, and I guess Ngannou offered to pay and everything, and it was fine. But yeah, dude. Yeah. What did you see that video? Did you find it funny? What do you think about it?
Dude, at first I didn't know, and I told you this in the green room. I didn't know if it was promotion, because Tyson and Francis released this kind of, fun kind of video where they're both, like, working out, and there's, like, they're cracking through the earth, they're, like, shattering through walls, but, like, across the country, across the planet. And, it's like Francis punching the bag, and, like, the whole ground is shaking, and Tyson feels it, and he goes and does something, and then it starts shaking where Francis is at, and I thought it was something like that. But apparently, no, Francis is just that fucking strong. He just shattered this glass door.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe it's not, like, fake, but it was pretty funny. I was like, Ngannou fucking took that promotional video way too fucking seriously, dude. Like, anyways, yeah, I thought it was a little funny thing. But speaking of Francis Ngannou, he's going to be fighting in Saudi Arabia later this month. But now the UFC also has a deal with Saudi Arabia. Next March, they will be going to the country for their first fight night. Not a pay-per-view event, but you've got to think this is the first of many events, I would imagine. Because they're paying for them to come here. It's not like they're just, they're choosing to go of their own volition. What do you think about this move, man? I know that there was it really remained a question how much interest Saudi Arabia had in the UFC after giving $100 million to the TFL, but it looks like they're hedging their bets.
I mean, look, hey, they want to get their, we already know kind of what Saudi Arabia's agenda is with all sports. But look, as long as this money benefits the fighters, benefits the company, I think that's all that matters. And obviously a good show for the people who are there that they're genuinely interested in the sport.
No, I agree. And something I saw that Conor McGregor already posted something about this too. So I wonder if he might be coming back for a special fight. Now maybe he'll do a special fight night event with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. I'm just saying. I thought it was weird that Conor posted like a picture of himself on Instagram this morning, like congratulating Saudi Arabia on the event and on a video with like their prince or whatever the fuck, It's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Anyways, man, this is kind of an interesting thing because this very much flew like under the radar. Like, I mean, I reported on this and a couple others did, but not many people talk about this. Matt Riddle was released from the WWE, late last month after a series of controversies. Nonetheless, obviously we know the story. A multiple time UFC veteran, has multiple wins inside the octagon. Apparently he's in talks with Jake Paul. It's very early talks, preliminary talks, no confirmation yet. But at the same time, apparently they are in talks for a fight in 2024. It's unknown if this would be MMA or boxing. But what do you think? What's your instant reaction, dude? This very much flew under the radar.
I mean, I saw that he wasn't with the WWE anymore. Did they have issues? Was he just never in good cahoots with them? Do you know anything about that?
He had a couple of drug and alcohol issues, from my understanding.
Oof.
So, not great.
Yeah, never want to hear that. Well, AEW, here we go. I mean, that's usually what happens, right? As of lately with these WWE guys, right? If they have a decent sized following.
You think we'll see Jake Paul over there too?
God, could you imagine? Just instead of him going WWE, he goes AEW. Jesus.
Yeah, he's not going to fight Jake Paul. That's what he's going to do. I think this might be breaking news. We're still waiting to see, but Dillon Danis, Logan Paul might be off, Angel.
You think so?
Did you see the ending of the press conference?
Yes.
I mean, this won't matter to people who are listening in a day from now, but it looks like Logan Paul, Dillon Danis might be off. Apparently, Logan Paul got hit in the face with Dillon Danis did not throw his prime. He did not throw a prime bottle. Some people reported that he hit him in the face with his microphone, and Logan got hit on. It looks like the eye, and apparently he's cut and bleeding.
We need pictures, man. I was looking at it. I was looking at it live.
Yeah. Yeah, we will see, but that's interesting. But yeah, we'll see. If not, I mean, shit, dude, Mike Perry about to get paid, and he's gonna have probably an easier fight too. So fuck it, Anyways, man, that's kind of the last bit of news.
Could you imagine Mike Perry versus Dillon Danis, matchup you never would have thought of ever in your fucking life?
God willing, we'll get Dillon Danis versus Mike Perry, or Mike Perry versus versus Logan Paul. I mean, I'm cool with either one. I just want to see Mike Perry in there, bro.
By the way, I'm looking at the press conference chat right now. Everybody's hyping up Dillon right now. They're all like Dillon, all this shit.
No, I figured, yeah, but I'm interested to see if that fight's gonna go on, cause that's Jesus, that's not good at all. That's really fucking bad. What a dumbass. What just two dumbasses, dude.
Is what it is.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't find any videos of him bloodied up, but apparently it is confirmed by MMA Fighting and a couple others that he was gushing blood after he got hit.
Gushing blood.
Yeah, that's the words that were used. So, anyways, man, yeah, we should go ahead and move on to the rest of the news, and we'll see if anything else breaks. This also flew under the radar. and I don't even think you know about this one, but it's like, okay, so Triller Fight Club, we have not heard.
Oh my god. You just threw me for a loop.
Yeah, you didn't see this coming at all, did you? So Triller Fight Club.
Hold up, let me check my bingo card.
Triller Fight Club has not really been seen in a while. They are having an event going down November 11th in Jamaica. It's going to be, I believe, an exhibition. God, I hope it's an exhibition. Between Donovan Razor Ruddock, who I believe is near 60, taking on James Toney, who I believe is around 53, I want to say. This is going to be the main event. This is their first show in a while, but the good news is that Beanie Man will be performing. So, Beanie Man will be performing. This is going down November 11th, Angel. What's your excitement level?
-5.
-5. That's about the same. I'd rather get put in the bronze bowl than have to watch this event. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I had to throw that in there because I saw this break recently and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. And there's a fun fact I believe that Muhammad Ali's last fight was in Jamaica because nobody else would clear him.
Really?
I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was, maybe it was the Bahamas. It was something, but like they're pretty clearly moving these guys to a different commission because they won't get cleared. And that's just crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, and I love James Toney, dude. I fucking Lights Out's one of my favorite boxers of all time, straight up. But yeah, I hate to see that. That's upsetting. Anyways, man. This is the last, but speaking of upsetting, we're all about the old men fighting this week, Angel. We're all about old men fighting. Cause I don't even think you remembered this. Going down, Saturday night, from Davenport, Iowa, is Mike Jackson taking on Pat Miletech.
You want me to tell you something that's gonna throw you so fucking hard off? I thought about this last night.
Oh, for real? You didn't forget?
No, I didn't forget. I didn't know what it was happening, but I thought about it last night because I was like, wait, I wonder if these guys are going to have their whole bout.
Damn.
Do you think Pat Miletech is going to drive to the arena? Dude, by the way, one of the announcers would be BJ Penn.
For real?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Yes, I just saw it on here. It says it on Tapology.
Well...
In Davenport, Iowa, coming to you live, BJ Penn, the Prodigy.
Oh my God. Well, we'll see what they can do. We'll see what Pat Miletech can do, dude. He's in the main event on Saturday. 3 rounds at middleweight, I believe, 185. We'll see.
175.
175? Oh, thank you. Apologies. Catch weight. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what to say about it.
What the fuck's gonna happen? Where is this available? Like, will this be available online to watch?
I think it's gonna stream on Fight TV on pay-per-view for probably $10 or something, if I had to guess.
Jesus. What the fuck?
So if Mike Jackson wins this fight, does that mean he fights Jake Shields? Convicted criminal, Jake Shields?
Yeah, do you really want to see that? Come on, dude. You already know what Jake Shields is gonna do.
What if they do it in kickboxing?
Well... Put me in.
Oh shit! I'll fight Jake Shields in a kickboxing match.
Dude, I'll fight Jake. Dude, if they offer me Jake Shields in Lethway, put me in.
Yeah, for real, dude. Let's go. Anyways, dude. Yeah, I mean that's all I got. I mean we had a long show. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01 at Courtside Sound for all things related to the show. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Angel, any closing messages to the Soundoff fans out there? Big week.
I'm so excited because these next the rest of this fucking month's going to be insane. So I'm excited to put out some banger content. We're closing in on 500K views on the YouTube channel. I appreciate all of you. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, rate us. Apple Music, Spotify, Podbean, fucking, what is it? Google Podcast, whatever the fuck you have. Rate us 5 stars.
Fuck yeah. And we appreciate all the love and support. Like I said, 500,000 is the goal. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the fights this weekend. And hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.